Two people enter the same clinic and choose to have the same Endolift treatment. They invest the same amount of money, £2,000 to £4,000, and 6 months later, one has got a lovely lift and the other feels as though they've wasted their time and money. Now, the difference wasn't the laser, it wasn't the practitioner, it was something that each of them walked in with. There's actually a number that predicts which one of those two people you would be. I've built a free way for you to find out, and by the end of this video I will show you exactly how. But first you need to understand what that number is measuring, because it changes how you will look at every before and after photo from now on. Now, if you've researched Endolift before and after, you'll recognise this. You'll see the happy results on the main video, but when you scroll into the comments, just as many people say it did nothing for them, and almost nobody who has kept their result is explaining why theirs has held. That difference was not decided in the treatment room, okay? It was decided way before they walked through the door. So let me tell you who I am quickly, because it matters for what sort of comes next, because I've trained and I've worked in clinics to do these treatments for years. But I also have these treatments myself, and I've recently had Endolift. Now, I was sitting in the chair as the client, not as the practitioner. And that's when it slightly dawned on me that I understood why the same treatment can transform one person's skin and why another person can get a slower, slightly sort of lesser result with exactly the same procedure. I want to be clear about something straight away. I'm not here to talk you out of Endolift, right? It is a fantastic treatment and it can do beautiful work. If anything, I want you to get everything it can possibly give you, right? Which is exactly why I've done this video. Firstly, we're going to talk about the one factor that predicts whether your Endolift result will actually last, and it isn't one that your clinic will measure before you pay the check or pay your deposit. And secondly, there is a particular profile of skin that quietly gets the best results from any treatment, whether it's done in clinic or anywhere else. By the end of this video, you'll know whether you currently have it or not. And the third is the question that every clinician should ask before any treatment, but they never do. Okay, so I'll tell you what that is, and therefore you can go armed to your next clinician or consultation and actually have that answer available. So let's start with why results fade, because it explains everything that comes after that. Here's the problem I see over and over again. The result looks promising early on, right? Then somewhere between sort of month 4 and month 6, the improvement quietly slows down. And the answer is almost always the same. Oh, well, you need another treatment. Now, to be fair to the clinics, they do check the most important things first. They do assess your skin's laxity, because you're looking for mild to moderate. That's the ideal range. And they look at your skin's elasticity to make sure it has that capacity to respond. And they rule out any of the contraindications, right? So that checklist is medically correct. But here's what's kind of not discussed, and it's the whole point of this video. That checklist tells you whether your skin can receive the treatment. It doesn't tell you anything about whether your skin can actually sustain or hold the result. And that comes down to something that most consultations will never mention: the biological age of your skin. Not your age on paper, the age your skin is actually behaving at from the inside. Think of where most of us are in our mid-40s or early into menopause. Two things are happening at the same time. Your natural collagen production is already slowing down. That's the hormonal shift, and it's normal, it's not a flaw. And at the same time, the everyday things that block the collagen repair are quietly working kind of against you. So things like broken sleep, blood sugar imbalances, low-grade inflammation, and things like your gut health could mean that you're not absorbing the collagen and the protein that you're consuming. So when you have a treatment like Endolift, you're asking your skin to build new collagen at the exact moment it has the least amount of support to do so. So the treatment will send the instruction, right? The laser creates the stimulus. Your collagen producing cells, they're all switched on and the build will begin. But building skin is exactly like building a wall, right? A wall needs more than just an order to build it. Think of it this way, right? The collagens are the bricks, and the mortar or the matrix around it, that's your elastin and the support structure. Now, the mortar will hold those bricks in place, and that is what will give the skin bounce, right? And then there's two other things that need to decide whether this wall will hold. First, there's the hormone, which I will call the hormones. This is estrogen, and this is what keeps that building crew from producing collagen in the first place. And by menopause, that poor foreman, well, he's also slightly retiring. So the crew is there, but they're not being given that firm instruction. And then the second element is the wrecking crew. When you're inflamed or stressed out or not sleeping, blood sugars are all over the place, your body will send enzymes to attack that mortar. So the structure holding your collagen together is being pulled apart faster than the new people can come along and build that wall. And this is where the firmness can't hold, because it's not because the treatment has failed, but it's because the wall is being dismantled quicker than it can be built. And then the next question is well, where do these bricks come from? So they largely come from the food that you eat. And collagen comes from the amino acids, so from the protein. And then also the balanced meal, so making sure that your blood sugars are also balanced to help support that absorption. Skip these two things and the crew will show up to build your wall, but they won't have any bricks. Okay, so the instruction is sent, but there's no material to put it all together. And remember, by your mid-40s, as we're hitting menopause, that foreman, he's on a lunch break, so the bricks are often in short supply. And if there's any background inflammation, you've got a wrecking crew already prepared to knock this wall down. So you're asking your skin to build new collagen at the exact moment that it has the least amount of support to do so, and struggling for, raw ingredients. The clinic will ask all the right questions about your skin, but no one's asking the questions about how well your skin is aging or its ability to build this wall. And this is where it starts to get a bit more personal, because it's this variable that will decide everything. And I call it your skin health age. So it's the biological age of your skin now, and how well, therefore, then that skin can rebuild and hold your collagen. So with my analogy about building walls, your Endolift, he's the skilled builder, given the right instruction at the right time. But that skilled builder has no bricks, and it has a foreman who's knocking off and a wrecking crew in the next room that's still looking to knock that wall down as quickly as possible. The skill's never the problem, it's all about the conditions on site. Let's talk a little bit more about what that looks like in real life, moving away from my wall analogy. So if you sleep well and you eat in a way that keeps your blood sugars balanced, you have protein with every meal, and you're not carrying much inflammation, this result will show up very happy within 6 weeks and potentially still be holding at, say, 12 months. That's the before and after. That's the person that you see on the clinic's website. The second option, or the second version, is slightly under stress, right? They sleep badly and they're carrying some inflammation. Now they get the result, but it will fade, it drops off. So they'll go back and sort of say, oh, well, it's worked, but I need more, right? And nobody really explains why that's dropped off. And the third person, they've had the Endolift, but the result very barely materialises. And this person walks away kind of thinking, well, Endolift hasn't really worked for me. I didn't get anything at all. And this is the person that I kind of want to reach out to the most. So if this is you, I'm talking to you, because it's not about what you did wrong or that the treatment didn't work, right? There's one distinction that changes everything. The treatment's identical for everybody. It's about your biological age of your skin. That is what decided the outcome. And it isn't only an Endolift thing, right? It's the same reason that most people get good results from any skin rejuvenation treatment. So this includes any collagen induction, so radiofrequency, CO2 laser. Maybe 30% of the result is the treatment, and the biological age of your skin, that brings together the other 70%. Here's the question the clinician should be asking you before you do these type of treatments. And it's what is the biological age of your skin right now, not your actual age, but your skin health age, because this number will tell you whether your skin has the ability to receive that instruction and build the wall. Okay, so I've created this calculator and it gives you that number. I want to be clear on how to use it. So it's not instead of a clinic consultation, it's about before it. I want you to sort of go armed so that you understand, because all the clinicians, they genuinely care about the outcome. They want you to get the result. Okay, but it's about you understanding the capacity, because if your skin health age comes back within around 5 years of your actual age, this is good news. Your skin is in a reasonable state to hold and receive the signal and build the wall. You know, it's got the materials there, so it's got the collagen, and your hormones are sort of working in your favour. You still need your clinic assessment, obviously, but you're on a good solid ground. Now, if it comes back significantly older than what you are now, and that is where you potentially see the faded pattern or even no result at all. And it's worth understanding this before you start booking in your Endolift, because it's usually these one-off type treatments, something that perhaps you only repeat 1 or 2 years, that you think, oh, this is the solution. But before you spend that money, I really want you to look at, is your skin able to receive that signal? So this is why if the number comes back high, the smarter move may not be to look at these bigger treatments. It may be actually to look at improving your skin's biological age first, looking at more consistent, lower cost approach. So rather than diving straight into the Endolift, I want you to perhaps look at the things that are impacting your skin's ability to generate the collagen, so the collagen blockers. Because the thing is with the skin health age, it is genuinely fixable. You can improve it, okay? Now I'll go in much deeper in another video on how to do that. And to be transparent with you, right, my 5-year window is a practical guide. It's not like a clinical benchmark. It's simply what I've observed over the years with the treatments that I've done and with the people that I've worked with. They're the ones that hold the results the best and the ones that are quite close to their actual age. But this is just about giving you the power and giving you the information to help you decide if these treatments are right for you. The calculator is completely free. The link is in the description. It takes just a few moments. Whether you're considering Endolift for the first time, or you've already had it and you're wondering perhaps why the results may have faded, or if you just simply want to understand what your skin actually needs right now, then go and have a look.